Good. So what is now the challenge of testing eSIM devices? And there is a challenge, which is a new one, which wasn't there for UICC, for classical SIM devices. And let's look at this. So let's start in the very early engineering phases. When you start with lab components, test components, the device is not yet fully engineered. Also the components, the eUICC is a test eUICC in this device. Means typically you have not yet components which come with all the security requirements, which later on the device which goes to market and which goes into the shop needs to meet, because you're still in the lab environment. So in that scenario, no problem, no restrictions. You can use well-known tools to access the eSIM, to deal with the profiles, and to connect to these components for this purpose. One example is our Comprion eUICC Profile Manager, which allows you to explore given profiles, to create new profiles, and eventually to load profiles, test profiles, onto these devices. So that's easy, that's well understood, and that is the same way we have always dealt with this also in the times of devices with physical SIM cards. But this is now changing once the devices become close to market ready or even commercial devices, because then and latest then the devices and the components, and in particular here the eUICC, needs to meet all the security requirements which have been defined by the industry, by the GSMA, in combination with all the industry players, which needs to be fulfilled to prevent from fraud, from data privacy issue and all this. So that of course makes a lot of sense to put all these security measures into place. And it means that the security applies end-to-end between the eUICC and the operator and the backend components, which are part of the remote SIM provisioning process. So that component you see here at the bottom is the so-called SMDP Plus. It's a backend service which, on behalf of operators, distribute the operational profiles onto the eUICC so that the device can connect to a real operator network. And the security which has been defined for this is the so-called GSMA SAS security. It applies to the eSIM, it applies for the backend components, and this end-to-end. And this is where the issue comes from, because now our tools in the lab environment and our entire lab environment, this is not SAS compliant, doesn't meet these highly secure requirements, because it cannot and it doesn't make sense, it's not an operational environment. And this means that our tools, which we used in the early engineering state to connect to the eSIM and to upload a test profile, they cannot connect to the eSIM anymore. The eSIM will reject this because they only accept connections from something which is SAS compliant. And this means our tools and our use to a working environment doesn't work anymore. And this is exactly where we started to work on a solution for this, which enables then all the test use cases, all the test scenarios, also for devices which are market ready or commercial devices, and which still need a test profile on the eUICC to facilitate all the testing. So that's the